Hey, John.
Hey, what's up, Areg?
Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is up, dude.
Oh, shit. I mean, if we're talking about up, dude, it's like clouds, background, there's an angel. He's got a GIF flaming sword. I don't really know about all that, but it looks cool.
Yeah, dude, it's definitely up. It's in my top 5 favorite games of all time.
Shit, yeah, I recall.
As you can notice, it says HD Edition here. Actually, I got this game off of Steam, and I didn't know that they were making an HD Remastered Edition, and I was really, really happy when they did. Unfortunately, man, I later found out after getting this game for $15 on Steam that GOG.com, what did it stand, GOG?
Good old games?
Yeah, good old games, man. Had this game for cheaper, $10, with all the expansions.
But it's not HD. That's the idea,
It's not.
right?
Yeah. So
it's the
not-
original.
Exactly. But honestly, man, that one was better than this one. However, we're going to take a look at this one today. And this one was the classic one with none of the expansions. As you can see, the options are very bare. There's only a few things to see here. And the music is actually very, very wonderful.
Yeah, no. You know, I've noticed this about old games. They have like very nice MIDI soundtracks and just in general, like nice little angelic, whatever, orchestral, quote unquote, kind of songs. So
Yeah,
I like
man.
this kind of thing.
The music is marvelous. However, the animation is not nearly as good. As you notice, you can even tell where the animation cuts off and restarts.
Yep.
But the music kind of balances that out, man. I can actually just sit around and listen to this for quite a while.
I could, dude. I can imagine going on YouTube while I'm like writing a paper or something and just listening to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So let's get into it a little bit. When I click new game, it gives us a slew of new options. We have a tutorial, campaign, multiplayer. Yeah, the game did indeed have a multiplayer.
Interesting.
And a single scenario. So the single scenario are more like the custom games and whatnot. So this is actually a turn-based strategy adventure game.
Okay.
So in today's day, I would say it plays more like a board game on the PC.
I see. So simply due to its age, perhaps, and the general, like the turn-based aspects of it, you would say that, or
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, turn-based games aren't really the thing anymore. So when you see a turn-based game nowadays, I think of it more in relation to as like a board game and just a different kind of strategy game. Here we see the select the campaign menu. So you can see there's 3 available campaigns. Once you beat these, it unlocks these grayed out ones.
I see. And are those, I'm guessing, harder or?
I guess, yeah, it does progressively get a little bit more difficult as you're going through the game, becoming more familiar. And it's different scenarios, really, different setups.
I see.
Yeah, so it's a very strategic game. Every turn counts, as you know, turn-based games.
Mhm.
Every turn has a very big impact on the game.
I remember you actually referred to this, or you compared it to real-time strategy games in its own way, simply because of the density of actions or things that you have to keep in mind while you go through your turn.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much you can do in a single turn that messing up a little bit, it adds up over time. Just like in a real strategy game, if you're not managing your resources in a timely fashion on the right turn, in comparison, it really adds up, and throughout the game you start losing and getting set back.
I see, bro. Well, let's see it in action, I suppose, whenever we can.
Here we have the scenario page. So these are the available scenarios for the classic game. We can see all the small maps, medium maps, large maps.
What was that
extra large
barbarian
maps.
thing? It said barbarian something.
Barbarian Breakout.
What
one
is
of the
that?
small maps. It's just one of the scenarios that you can play. So every
Ooh.
scenario has its own title and little description for what the scenario is. Win conditions, lose conditions, how many players, enemies there will be,
I
the
see.
difficulty of the game.
Some
advanced options.
Can you do multiplayer with these scenarios, or can you only do single player with these scenarios?
I believe you can. I actually haven't done multiplayer in this game since I first played it as a little kid. So I'm not sure. I don't remember how the multiplayer works. It's kind of complicated. We won't really get into it right now.
No worries.
But the available scenarios today, we'll take a look at one of the small maps. Let's see here. Which one? Key to Victory.
Ooh, sounds promising.
It's very simple. It says a war is about to occur and 2 forces are separated only by a heavily guarded mountain pass.
That's the beginning to any good fantasy
It
book
sounds
or-
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we can see allies. This is us, actually. And enemies. We only have one enemy. It's a small map. 2-player, 1 versus 1. We're going to play against the AI.
Cool.
If I right-click this, it shows me it's on normal difficulty. If we wanted to go higher, we could, but we'll just play it on normal today.
That's totally fine, man.
When I click Show Advanced Options, it actually allows me to choose my race, what kind of civilization I want to be.
Interesting, dude. So what's your favorite race first off?
I'll read them out to you. There's the castles, which are like the human-like ones.
Mm-hmm.
Rampart, which is the orcs, kind of.
Okay.
Or not the orcs, I apologize. They're like the elves.
Oh, sure.
They're like the elves. The tower is more like the magic and elvish kind of ones. Inferno is sort of like the devilish demon ones, right? Necropolis is undead skeletons. Dungeon is more like swamp-like, lizard-like men.
Interesting.
Stronghold is the orcs, straight up.
Ah, gotcha.
And Fortress is also like swamp-like, lizard-like men, basically.
You know,
so it's variations of each other.
Do they have, what are the different, like, do they have differences in the sense that they play very differently?
Oh,
or
yeah.
do they play similar and...
No, completely differently. So the aesthetics are absolutely different. The units are all different. What all the units do, what all the heroes do, and all of that is completely different. So depending on how your strategy is when you're approaching this game, you'd pick a different class.
All right,
or race.
well, let's just say, so I know very little about this game, but
Yeah.
we're going against one person and we have a mountain pass between us.
Yeah.
I'm going to say probably the Fortress or the Orcs.
The orcs. Let's go with the stronghold.
Let's go with
the
the
orcs.
Stronghold, yeah.
We actually have a chance of picking the hero we want to begin with. And
Interesting.
Each hero, when I right-click, it says the specialty the hero has.
Ogres.
Yeah, wolf riders. So heroes can be good at certain things. For example, this one's not good at units like ogres or wolves, but it's good at sorcery.
I got you. Well, I mean, it's a mountain pass, so I'm going to guess ogres are probably very good at mountains, right?
So I was going to say mountain pass means that traveling is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
This hero is good at logistics, which means they're good at traveling and
Ooh,
covering
I see.
distance. So I would probably go with the logistics
Let's go.
one. Yeah.
Let's go with it. Yeah, totally. I'm down.
Starting bonus, you can choose between
Random.
getting an artifact or gold or a resource, but we'll just go with random.
Yeah, why not?
I'm going to keep my opponent absolutely random completely, so I have no clue what they're going to be like. And we're going to hit begin.
Begin. We have begun.
Here we have a little bit of lore in the beginning.
All right.
For 400
Little-
years, the border guards between your kingdom and the lands to the north have prevented your enemies from invading. Now, however, your astrologers believe that the northern lands have weakened enough for you to invade, but you will still need a strong army to do so. Build your forces, and when you are ready, command your border guards to stand down. The time has come for you to eliminate rather than block the threat of invasion.
All right. Pretty straightforward. I'm down.
Here we have the map. This is a small size map. As you saw, there were XL maps. So the
Yeah.
XL maps are tremendously larger, where you can have a whole bunch of different players going at it.
That sounds fun. That sounds very like, I don't know, very varied.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess.
kind of like a huge map on Civ 5, for
Mm.
example, with more players and everybody taking their turns and doing things. It really accumulates into like this big strategy. You know?
For sure. Yeah, no, that sounds very cool.
So here we can see our little hero, and this is our little castle. And all these little shiny things are all the resources that we can get.
Awesome.
So the game right now it's not a real-time strategy, so obviously it's not going until I do anything. It's my turn, so it's
Gotcha.
waiting for me to move or do whatever.
Do you always start first?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you always
Okay.
start first against the AI, at least. I'm not sure how it works in multiplayer.
Okay.
But before I actually move my guy or do anything, I'm going to cover the HUD real quick, the display. So here on the bottom, you see all our current resources that we have.
Totally
And
intuitive.
we have the
yeah.
wood, the ore, the mercury, sulfur, crystal, gems, and each resource is required for different things. Like if you're going to build stuff versus
course.
hire certain units. Gold, of course, is all across the board one of the most useful resources because you need gold to hire your armies.
Yep.
Here on the side, this is the mini map. Here we have a list of all our heroes. Currently, we only have one hero, so we can select between them if we had more.
Can you have more than the slots? Or,
Yes.
Oh, you can zoom down.
Yes,
I got you.
exactly. And here we have a list of all the castles we could potentially have. One thing to note, you cannot create a castle. The castles are all pre-existent on the map. All you can do is occupy them and take them as your own.
That makes sense, I suppose.
You build within the castles. So let's take a look at the castle first. So we'll select it once, and then we can click it again to go into it.
Ooh.
So here actually we see our hero on the bottom because he was standing in front of our castle. So here he's at this point in the game.
Okay, gotcha.
I can move him into the castle, and when I exit the castle view, no more hero. He's
Ooh.
inside the castle.
What benefit does that provide to you?
If
Ted?
someone is attacking me, another enemy hero comes on his turn and attacks. If my hero is standing outside, he can attack my hero individually outside of my castle.
I see.
If
But
my hero is inside the castle, he has to do a castle siege, and my hero and his army is behind our walls.
that's very Civ-like. You can.
Yeah.
I remember in Civilization, you could put your armies and stuff within your cities and your
Exactly.
Main,
It gives you a defensive boost, basically.
Exactly. That's cool.
And here, when you hold your mouse over the different buildings, you can see which ones are the active ones. These little tiny ones, as you can see, are all over the place. They're not. They're just aesthetic.
Yeah.
The ones that are functional are these ones, and I'll just run over them real quick. This is your town hall.
Wow, what is all this, dude?
Every castle, every civilization has its own town hall. So the castles look completely different, and all the buildings and aesthetics look completely different. The heroes, the units for every class or race that you choose.
Yeah.
So in the town hall is where you manage what you want to build. So here you choose, you can build one thing per turn. And every turn you build one thing if you have the resources, and you essentially build up your castle, and you're able to hire better units. So for example,
let's get that Hall of Valhalla, dude.
we shall.
That sounds promising.
For example, we have the building that allows us to hire goblins.
Okay.
So let's say we want to hire the goblins. So every goblin I want to hire costs more and more gold.
Yeah.
So let's say I want to hire all the goblins, and I hired them. Our number here increased.
Oh, okay, cool.
So as you notice, it says
dude,
36 goblins.
Just a slave master, huh, to these goblins.
Yeah, you can definitely separate your heroes. So for example, in this slot, I only have one goblin, and I moved the 35 over here.
What's the point?
Strategy, tactics during the battle, which we'll get to later. But for now, I'll just keep them all in one place. When I right-click them, it shows me some stats on the units. For example, each goblin, this is for each goblin. They have 1 to 2 attack damage when they attack and 5 health.
Oh,
I have 36 of them.
Yeah.
So you would add it all up to
Right. Yeah, of course.
So that's one of the buildings for the units. Here we have
what the hell is going on, dude? What's happening?
This is the fort. So the fort displays all available units. And as you can see here, it says available 0 since we just bought all the goblins we had available. The other ones don't even say available because we don't have the buildings built for them.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah,
So
gotcha.
as we start building more buildings, these will become more and more available. As you note from the stats, you can see how powerful some of the units may become.
Bro, this is honestly like a trip. Just looking at all these little minions or whatever your units, just like
With the
loop
little
their
animations.
animations and everything. Like,
Yeah.
this is definitely. I can see what you mean when you say it's like it's board game like in the sense that it's got those like the statistics and everything that you can use to just further yourself in the game.
Exactly. And every race has different sets of units, different animations, different stats, and different abilities for all the units and everything. Here we have a little tavern. Every race has the tavern. So every race actually has the same buildings in the sense of same amount of units, same amount of buildings, and same style of buildings like forts and town halls and taverns, but they just look aesthetically different.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough.
And they function differently in the sense that the tavern allows you to hire heroes, but the heroes you're allowed to hire are different based on the race that you chose.
Of course. Yeah. They're individual or relative.
Exactly. So we have a choice of 2 heroes we can hire. We don't have to. When I right-click the hero, it shows me the hero display.
Damn, bro. This is like, in every little thing has like an in-depth, I guess, like little UI or screen for it. Like, this is really weird and intense and like, I don't know. It's attractive to me.
It's
like,
a complicated
this is like fantastical.
board game.
This is cool.
Yeah, it's a really complicated board game like game. So when I right-click this guy, if I were to hire him, it shows me what I would get. So I would basically get this hero who specializes in wolf riders, and look, lo and behold, he has a few wolf riders that he actually comes with.
All right.
Then it says basic offense, so certain abilities he has and whatnot. He's level 1 barbarian, etc. His name and whatnot. And I don't have to hire him. He costs 2,500 gold. I can if I want to. I will.
Oh, you hired the barbarian? That's good, because I was going to say hire the barbarian.
Definitely. So I bought him. So our gold actually went down 2,500, but now I have him and I have an extra hero. What I typically do is I have one hero that's kind of like the bitch, and I have him just go around and pick up resources for me.
I'm telling you, dude, right now, the barbarian is not the bitch.
He's not.
He's not. The other guy's the bitch. Who's the other guy? What does he do?
This guy, let's check him out real quick. So he is a battle mage.
Oh, yeah, he's the bitch.
Okay.
The battle mage is the bitch.
Fine. Let's handle it like that. So how I do that is I put all the units that I'll do battle with to the guy that I'm actually gonna use for the battle.
Gotcha.
And the bitch will have, you have to have one unit at least You can't have 0.
I see.
So I always keep just one of the weakest units on him, just to have him move around the map and scout for me, basically.
And he's
my
basically,
scout.
he's your scout
Yeah.
/ resource gatherer. So he's the guy who always goes back to the castle, right? Is that how you gather
Yeah, he
resources?
gets-
You get the thing and.
Yeah, he gets like units for me, brings it to my main hero. Typically, I have the main hero go out and do the battles and have my scouts kind of bring more units to him and resupply him.
Oh, I see. So, well, I mean, let's see that in action a little
All
bit,
right,
I
here.
suppose. Yeah.
So we're going to start picking up resources. So actually, when I click, it shows me the path my guy will take.
Yeah.
And this green bar goes down as I use up my movement points.
I see.
There you go. So I have very few movement points left. Now look, if I click here, it's no longer green. That means my turn will be over with this hero. I cannot move
Before
that
you
far.
get to that point.
Exactly.
But-
So I will have to move the rest for the next turn.
Got you. So, I mean, it moves as much as it can depending on your action points, and then it stops the turn, and the next turn you continue.
For that hero individually. Yeah.
Got
So
you.
this hero is done. This hero, I cannot move. He is done here until I pass my turn and move on to the next turn. This hero cannot do anything else.
Okay.
So I go back into the castle. Let's get this hero out.
The bitch?
No, this is
Oh,
the
this is our
barbarian.
cool
this
guy.
is the guy
Oh,
with
okay,
the
awesome.
Yeah, we just use the bitch. So
Good.
so this is where the strategy comes in, is where do I move him? Which resources do I get? Do I want to skip any? And how do I want to go about the movement of my heroes, essentially, is the
I
bulk
see.
of the strategy. So here I can see there's an ore pit.
Okay.
I'm familiar with the game, so I know that when I capture an ore pit, it's a strategic point. Every turn, it gives me 1 ore. As opposed to these other resources, they're static. So when I pick one of these up, they're gone, and I just get the set amount.
I see. So, yeah. Oh, so I guess these, like the ore pit and probably other analogous things, are like nodes that you want to increase
Exactly.
your revenue and your overall income, whereas
Exactly.
those are just like one-off. You pick them up and that's it.
Exactly. They're kind of like control points. As you can see here, I picked this one up. As it says, you gain control of the ore pit. It provides you with 2 units of ore per day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So each day is a turn. So as you can see here, month 1, week 1, day 1. Once I hit this button, which is end turn, it will go to day 2. However, we have not finished our turn just yet.
That's fine. I wanna.
Let's do battle.
Oh, I'm down.
So as we can see here, it says lots of halberdiers are blocking something that's in here that I cannot see.
I like the map, man. I really like the way it's like the fog of war is actually not an obnoxious fog of war. It's like very specific. It's kind of pixel perfect fog of war, and like the star pattern of
looks
it. It's kind of
nice.
it's cool. It's very awesome.
So actually, because of the army
Ooh.
that we have,
Whoa.
the group of halberdiers wish to join us. They don't want to do battle.
Oh
And
shit.
they ask us if we accept.
Wait. So if you don't accept, you fight them, right?
So not necessarily. It varies. However, I'm an orc. I'm a barbarian. Halberdiers are humans. I don't like them, man. I don't want them to join me.
All right. I agree with you, dude. Let's
It
get into
says-
the role.
It says, insulted by your
Yes.
refusal of their offer, the monsters attack.
Oh, are they monsters or humans?
Any creature.
Oh,
they're
they're
just
humans.
creatures.
Oh, I got you.
They're
Oh.
humans, but in the game, they're just called creatures. So this happens to be the battlefield. Okay, this is the combat mode. This is a little different because this particular hero has an ability that allows me to have a tactic phase before the battle actually begins.
What does that mean?
Not every hero has this. What it means is I'm able to put my heroes or my units somewhere. Actually, real quick, I'm going to go into the settings and increase the animation speed of everything so that when I move things, it goes faster now.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Just to speed things up.
Yeah.
So here, I can do this indefinitely.
In that like gray space,
Within
right?
the gray space, yeah.
God.
So,
Oh, that's awesome, man.
so what this ability allows me to do is if I have a bunch of units, I can set them up however I want in the gray space before I actually start the battle and the turns start taking place.
Dude, that's a huge advantage. It feels like later, like now it does. I mean, it doesn't matter too much. It's early on, but later it feels like this is like the decider.
It can
you know?
be. The more I level up that ability, the larger the gray space becomes.
Wow. Can it eventually get to like?
No, there's
Oh.
a limit.
Oh, for sure.
So once I'm ready, let's say I'm done. I want to lay it out like this. Click start battle.
Hell yeah.
And now the battle has begun. And now the gray space has changed because this is the unit that gets to move first, and that's decided by the speed. So as you can see, the last stat is the speed stat. So the faster creatures will get to move first.
Can you see the stats on the enemy as well?
Indeed.
Oh, interesting. Is there ever a case where you don't get to see the stats, like they're hidden or like
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Not that I know of. So I can see how far I can move my my wolf riders. So if I move them here, if we kind of think a little ahead like chess, if I move them here, eventually it's going to be the halberdier's turn, right? And my wolf riders will be close enough for the halberdiers to attack and get the first attack off, right?
Both halberdiers will probably go, or even all three perhaps.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So maybe I want to move them in such a way that I can make it so I get to attack them first. So I don't want to move them too close. Let's say I move them over here. Ooh, and the halberdiers get to move, and we were correct. They would have been able to be within reach to attack.
See.
We'll move these guys a little closer, and now it's our wolf's turn. So now we get to choose who we want to attack and from which angle we want to attack.
Interesting. And is there, differences or advantages to attacking, let's say, from behind or from the flank, or?
So, no, not that I know that it does more damage, but the thing about positioning is when units start surrounding your guys, maybe you want to block certain guys off so that the enemy can't get to them.
I see.
So, for example, maybe I don't want to attack this guy. I want to attack this guy, but I can't reach him. So I'm forced to attack this guy. But I want to get closer to these so I can attack them to next turn. So I might want to move. Even though I can stay here and attack him from here, I want to use the attack move turn all in one to get closer simultaneously.
That's interesting. Okay, I understand. That's actually very cool. That's what makes it more real-time strategy in a way as well, because you're constantly worrying about the position of where you're at. Oh, we won. What the hell?
Exactly. So this was the very beginning, around our castle. The creatures are kind of weak. So
first battle.
Especially make note, I hired an extra hero and I transferred his army onto this army. So it's like a double beginner hero army.
That's
where
cool.
You might choose not to do that. You might choose to save the 2,500 gold. And in that case, you won't have these extra units that I had. So we get some experience. They disappear, and we see what's behind it, a sawmill. Ooh, we don't have enough points to get it this turn. You see that?
Yeah.
If I had used my hero's movement a little more efficiently, I may have been able to capture the sawmill as well and got that extra wood.
So in a game against an AI, perhaps that's a little less relevant because, you're just playing and you're experimenting and you're seeing what's what. But in a multiplayer game, even though we are not covering that exactly right now, but I feel like that's all the more important to get it in that turn as opposed to the next turn, because all of a sudden your opponent has just an extreme advantage over you because he gets the resources the next day.
So let's build something here, something we don't have. We'll build the orc tower.
Hell yeah.
Let's notice that this is an empty space here, correct?
Yes.
Let's build the orc tower. It'll allow us to hire a new unit. This is the cost of it. We have it. We'll build it. Ooh, it appeared.
Hell yeah.
So now we click it.
That's cool, man. It just changes your entire base as you play.
Yeah, a complete castle looks completely different from what you see now. This is
bet.
barren. It's completely.
No, I bet.
So right off the bat, it allows us to hire 7 of them. Sure, why not? They have to stay in our castle. We don't have a hero to transfer the units. The units cannot move independently. You need a hero to carry the armies.
Oh, so like a general commander or whatever.
Exactly.
And so you need to bring your bitch back
exactly
to take him and then bring him to your main guy.
Exactly.
Dude, that's cool, man.
Or if I really want, I can spend another 2,500 gold and hire another hero if I don't want to bring heroes back.
That's a nasty little decision, mate.
Eventually, I start juggling 10 heroes per turn. You see what I'm saying?
That's intense, bro.
So right now it says a 0 to hire here, 0 to hire here. We're going to end our very first turn. Action points restored on all our heroes. I can move them again.
Day 2.
We go back. Oh, sorry. We go back to the thing. It's 0 again because the units refresh every week. So every 7 days, you get a new set of units you can buy.
Oh, okay, cool.
From the
so you
buildings
can kind of time how you're buying your units based on what day of the week it is. And
exactly.
Interesting. There's a lot of facets to this game, man. I can definitely see how it would bog you down, but at the same time, as soon as you understand it, and in the beginning, it becomes intuitive, it becomes interesting.
It starts to flow.
Yeah, for sure. I can definitely see the flow in the same way that a real-time strategy game would flow.
Here we discovered a chest that gave us the option of getting gold out of it or experience. So I chose the experience, and our barbarian actually leveled up. So when a hero levels up, we get a choice of 2 random abilities. It could be an ability we already have that we get an upgrade to, like the tactics. So now we can get an upgrade to the tactics and it becomes advanced tactics.
Yeah.
Now it allows us to move our units within 5 hex rows instead of the 3 or 4 that we had.
Yep.
Or we can pick up a whole new ability. Increases the damage done by our ranged creatures by 10%.
I like advanced tactics.
We'll go with advanced tactics. We pick that up. Now if we look at our
we're intelligent
screen,
barbarians.
Yeah. Now we look at our character screen and here is the ability we have.
Very awesome, man. So it's like a little character sheet like in D&D, basically. That's cool.
Indeed. So here's an artifact.
A leprechaun offers you a state. What the hell, dude?
Yeah, for a small fee of 3,000 gold. Sure, let's pick it up. Once we pick it up, the artifact is now here. I can unequip it if I want. This is my inventory. Or I can equip it. Let's see what it does. Worn around the neck, the metal reduces the cost of surrendering.
Okay, we're never gonna surrender. No surrender,
Nope,
dude.
no surrendering for barbarians.
Oh, more experience. Oh, I see, dude. That's pretty interesting.
Ooh. So here we got a very lucky option. We can have our scout take this up, which allows this hero to contribute a natural
Oh,
125
dude, that's
gold
it.
per day.
We have
Yeah.
2 heroes. That's automatically gonna be a crazy like little boost.
Well, this is the only hero that gets it. So this is
I
the
see.
only hero that has this ability now
I
that we
see, I
have.
see, I see.
So every turn from this hero, just because this hero has that ability, we
He
get an
became
extra
a
100.
little less of a bitch.
Yeah, he became a little more useful. So there's different things in the game that you can pick up. Like this gave
For
me
sure,
plus
bro.
1 knowledge, right? There's a windmill. Oh, I can't go there anymore. Oh, suddenly my heroes are out of turns. I've already built something, as you can see, the X.
I see. So some
Means-
turns are going to be quicker than others and more intuitive than others. Others you need to probably sit and think and
Yeah, typically the beginning turns will be much quicker. And later on, as you progress through the game, it will become faster and faster.
dude, honestly, at first this game seemed very overwhelming, especially as you get more in depth with all the menus and everything else. However, like now that I'm seeing you play it and we're doing this, I really feel like it's actually fairly intuitive and I can get into it and actually not master it, but just
like
play
you can get
through
into
it.
a board game, man.
Yeah, no, I
In the same
definitely
way,
see that.
just like you take time to learn a board game, a new board game, you take the time to learn this as well. There's a really funny button I want to show you, auto combat. So you can, if you have a huge army, the enemy has a huge army, and you kind of don't feel like going through all the strategy, you click auto combat, and you sit back, you do a little bit of homework, and you let the whole thing play out on its own.
Okay. Is
And-
it usually, have you noticed in your experience that it's fine if you just do auto
It's
combat, like
completely
in
fine.
general? Okay. Like it doesn't really make bad decisions for you or?
Occasionally it does. It definitely does things that you would have thought not to do, not in a positive sense. Maybe you can see a different thing you wanted to do, right?
Yeah. Just another parallel experience.
Yeah, exactly.
This
So
is so funny,
here
dude.
it's coming.
Wow.
It's very close. As you can see, the number of our goblins is dwindling as we're getting attacked.
I want to see if we win, dude. I think we're going to win.
I feel like we're not. So it says
No, dude.
Tyraxor,
No.
our hero, feels
No.
that the odds are overwhelming. Do you wish to retreat? We say no. So it's going to play it out. We can stop the auto combat at any time. Well, it's too late now to stop it, but we lost. So it says your forces have suffered a defeat. And when I click OK, our hero disappears. It's gone. No more hero. However, we go back to our tavern.
We could hire him?
Next week, there's a chance that our dead hero can be hired.
Oh, I see.
Also, if you surrender during the battle, you pay a fee, and it guarantees you can rebuy your hero from the tavern.
Which is what that little
Exactly.
talisman was, right?
It gave you a warning.
But
Yeah,
we're never
yeah.
going to surrender, dude. That's dumb.
Well, sure, but sometimes it's very useful because
I know, bro. I'm just teasing.
you might have a high-level hero that has very good abilities, and you want to keep it.
But yeah, bro, I mean,
That's the game, man.
yeah, no, it seems like like really cool. It seems very dense, really cool, and especially if we go in the GOG and get the expansions and stuff like that. So, I mean, my question to you, Areg, is does this hold up? Do you think that this game holds up?
You know what? Like I told you in the beginning, as a PC video game, I wouldn't say so. But as a board game, like if I'm tired of playing Sellers of Catan and I want to mix it up and play something else, and maybe I want to use the computer at the same time, I would play this.
I see, dude.
Yeah.
I definitely actually agree with you. This completely transformed my opinion of it. I thought it was a lot more difficult than it was, and it probably is more difficult later on. But this is pretty intuitive, pretty enjoyable. So I'm just gonna say that it holds up in the degree that you're suggesting, especially with the expansions and stuff on GOG. Then I would think that I would play this game on the side, and we could probably save campaigns and play them as we prefer. So
Yeah, definitely, man. It's just a straight up board game, in my opinion, the way I view it now. Just a board game to play with friends.
too bad we lost, man. Too
Yeah.
bad we lost.
It's
No
all right.
surrender though.
Well, next time.
Next time, yeah, man. Well, that was great, dude.
Yeah, it was.
All right.
Bye bye.